There are plenty of situations in which you may be unaware of how your website code or sensitive data is being handled. This is unavoidable if you contract or outsource work on your website.
And in this lesson, we will review some of the most common situations that call into question ethical concerns when you hire a contractor to work on your website. So let's begin with the definition of contracting, subcontracting, and outsourcing.
Contracting is when you enter into a business contract with a designer or developer to do work on your website with an agreement of services. The contractor will present a contract along with a scope of work, and come tax time, if you're in the US, you may be responsible for sending them an IRS 1099 form. As a contractor, they are not considered employees, thus limiting their benefits.
Meanwhile, subcontracting is when that contractor assigns part of the work of your project, or let's say a specific task in that project, to another person who's not an employee. An example would be, I love a good example, subcontracting out the advanced coding part of the website build that the original contractor couldn't do themselves. Now, usually the contractor you hired will oversee their progress and the task completion.
Now, outsourcing refers to the contractor handing off the work of an entire job or processes to another business. An example would be outsourcing the SEO for a website to an SEO agency. The business it was outsourced to would manage the process themselves. Outsourcing is typically not task-oriented or project managed by the original contractor like you see in subcontracting.
All right, Neely, so why does this matter?
Well, because subcontracting and outsourcing tend to cause the biggest headaches for website owners when they are unaware of how the website design and development industry works. Delays in communication, work not reflecting the communicated vision, poor quality, bad coding, plagiarism, copyright infringement can all result from bad practices with the contractor subcontracting or outsourcing. On the other hand, contractors subcontracting or outsourcing can lead to affordable rates, faster turnaround, and better quality.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is this could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the choices of the contractor.
That's right. Now, if you work with a website professional that is positioned as a freelancer, you can expect that they are doing the work themselves. It can be unethical for them to hire a subcontractor if you believe that they are the ones doing the work. When you select a company positioned as a web or marketing agency, you should be aware that they may subcontract or outsource parts of the project.
Okay, so that seems to be the key difference between someone positioned as a freelancer and someone positioned as an agency.
I mean, it's one. Many agencies will outsource parts of the project they don't have in-house, like SEO or copywriting. To avoid placing the contractor in an awkward place ethically, ask questions in the inquiry process about their team, what is handled in-house, and if any parts are outsourced. You ultimately need to trust the agency, especially if they have a successful process that includes subcontractors and outsourcing.
So I'd imagine where you don't want to see subcontracting or outsourcing is when you hire someone full-time in your business to handle all your website needs.
Right, paying them a salary only to have them subcontract is unethical. Website owners want to make sure that their contract specifies that they should not subcontract or outsource any part of their work to another person or company.
But let's be clear, it's good for website professionals to use subcontracting and outsourcing if they are working with partners they trust.
And agencies and freelancers should shoulder the responsibility if subcontractors or outsource providers underperform. This is the risk that they run. The major concern for you, the website owner, is the legal requirements around data, information privacy, and non-disclosure agreements.
All right, now let's talk about security risk. There is an inherent risk when you hand over sensitive account information to temporary workers. And since you don't have insight or control in these situations, whenever possible, use password managers or software that allows for delegated access.
It's acceptable when sharing passwords with contractors to request that they then share with their team in a way that is safe. You can also request they keep the data stored in an encrypted password manager. There are quite a few ways you can aid the proper management of your account username and passwords. Never share passwords in an email, make sure passwords are complex, and use delegated access to your accounts so you don't have to share passwords in the first place.
In addition, one way to stay responsible with your website access is to always set up accounts with your email. And it's worth the back and forth with contractors and outsourcing teams to have accounts set up properly and in your name. And this is one way you can make sure the right people are accessing what they need.
It is a level of trust you need to have with those working on your website. They need to have access to, as well as the resources through subcontractors and outsourcing teams to carry out quality work.
That's right, it's a balance, and being aware of the dynamics behind the scenes will help you become an ethical website owner.